So I'm going to start. Not that I know where I'm starting, but since I'm the main guy here, I guess I'm supposed to run the thing. So welcome. This is the third one. First one was technology really got bit me in the butt. Second one, I bit myself in the butt. Tonight, no more bite butting. I'm going to see what we can do about bringing in some healing, some calming, some connection, something that, because I sit with before this, I sit with what people send me, and there's more people send me stuff than are here, and that's fine. I'm not saying, bad or wrong, because I told some people, someone's in the hospital or this or that. My intention is to hold space for them if they're here or not, just to see what we can bring in together. And I'm Michael. I guess you know that by now, also known as Santa Barbara Healer, which I think is actually kind of funny because I grabbed that name like 15 years ago. And if you've been to my website, it starts out with I'm not a healer. I believe in healing energy. I consider myself an intuitive and help you work on and tuning into what energy blocks you physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Where do we get stuck? Because I look at everything as energy. It's as simple and as basic and as hard as that all as one. So when I sit with you, what I want to come up with is first, I'll probably do a little meditation, and anywhere things are muted. So if you have questions or something, eventually I don't want it to be like I'm sitting on the stage performing or doing something. The connection is what I'm longing for with everybody. So how can we do that? Is it's just by sitting, slowing down, and bringing the energy together. So my basic philosophies, and I'll probably repeat this every session, and if you see me in person, I will tell you the same thing. Everything's energy, period. It's flowing or not. It's not bad, it's not wrong. We add drama or trauma, traumatize it, is what I call drama and trauma. And then we go into our story. So it's energy. And then witness is healing. So if you witness your thoughts, your beliefs, your images, and then you bring in compassion, the healing starts working on. The healing to me is moving that stuck energy. So that's bringing in the healing. But what we do as human beings, and we all do it, is we go into shoulda, woulda, coulda, and I'm not. We have this I'm not so big that we don't allow ourselves to be I am. And I am is a child of God. I don't care if it's Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, or a tree. All we are is children of a higher parent power. And I believe, and I'm not asking anybody to believe what I do, we incarnated to this earth to learn lessons. And I was going to say, fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure which, we learn our lessons when we're in the soup, we can't breathe, we think this is it, it's too much, when we're overwhelmed. That's when we learn who we are and what's going on. But the gifts in it are just amazing because the gifts are our heart and our soul. And I think, or I believe that our biggest longing is to connect that with our heart, our soul. And in doing so, we can connect with the other. Because I truly believe we are tribal, and that's the way we're set up, is to connect with the other. So as in, it seems like each week I have a question that comes up before, and it's, and I did a lot of journaling and writing and sitting with it with this last week, is who am I, and who am I in connection to all this that's going on. So it's like I'm sitting here literally slowing down, not like last week, not Speedy Gonzalez, because my longing is for being connected to each and every one with you, if even if your picture's up there or not or whatever. My longing, I think the human heart and soul is for connection. We heal in connection. We don't heal in isolation. But our biggest fear is that connection. I think our biggest four woundings is to be loved, held, heard, and seen. And some of our biggest fears are to be loved, held, heard, and seen. We go into the I'm not and I'm too much and all that. So when I sit in that, the beat up, it's just kind of painful. So I look at the most powerful energy in the world is joy. And joy is connected to, like I said, everything's energy. That's my first one. I didn't even complete it. Number two is witness is healing with compassion. So when I work with people, I just witness what's going on with compassion. And number three, which just as important, is you slow down and you check in. What do I need? Not what does the other need, because I think we've all become professional caretakers. And when I sit and work with people who are caretakers, it is you're robbing them of letting them learn their lesson learning on their own. Caretaking to me is invasive when you caretake as someone. And I'm not saying don't have compassion for them or support them, but when you caretake them, you don't allow them to learn the lessons they need to learn. So I literally look at caretaking on someone most of the time is actually invasive to them. It's like feeding an alcoholic alcohol and saying, well, I'm taking care of them. No, they need to be in pain and suffer sometimes. And I know we care about each other, but there's a fine line between caretaking and then losing taking care of ourselves, because if we can't take care of ourselves, it's hard to take care of the other. It's kind of like the plane going down and everybody grabbing a mask and putting it on. And you go up and down the aisle, make sure everyone's done taken care of, and you're not. I'm just rambling on. But I'm following my guidance, and my joy is not to caretake you, but to hold a sacred space for you. That's my Santa Barbara healer. Hold a sacred, non-judgmental, loving, compassionate place for you. I'm not here to fix you, but I will support you 1000% in your healing journey, no matter what that looks like. And everybody's healing journey is different, because everybody's wounds, belief, why we incarnated, why we came to earth is as unique as we are as our fingerprints. My deepest longing that I've got in touch with more and more is the work I do, is my passion is supporting other people and making a difference, not fixing, not changing, supporting them so they can find their heart and their soul. And then from there, you go into creation. And I truly believe when you do that, that's when miracles show up. And I don't believe in hope. It's just me. I don't believe in luck or wishing. I believe truly in miracles, that we have an opening, we create and allow in. And it's coming home to ourself, our heart and our soul, our wounded child, all that coming home to us will bring, I truly believe, our deepest longings. So I'm just checking in with myself, because I have what I want to write or talk about the I am. But I don't want to lecture. So I'm just sitting in, I'm not lecturing, sharing of, yeah, I think what my guidance is to just give us a few minutes just to be present, and then read that, and then maybe do a meditation, and then go into the healing sort of a deal. So and you can close your eyes or not. Whatever works for you. It's like there's a slowing down through your breath. And I truly believe breathing in through your nose and exhaling, you don't have to just slowly coming center to yourself. What's here and what's present now? I mean, do you have a headache? Are you hungry? Are you annoyed? Are you afraid? Just coming to center to, oh, I can feel the group centering. So it's just coming. And the breath and the slowing down, I can feel the connection more. And for me, it's done through the heart. Yeah, you can feel, or I can, the sweetness that's in this group right now. Hmm. I could sit in this energy field for a long time, but so what I'd like to do is talk about. I put some notes on be glancing at or going on the who am I, and part of it is if you have a question, feel free to ask it. I don't have rules of don't do this, don't do that. My longing is for connection. So if you want to go, I'm not sure about that or this or that, it brings something up, that's fine. And if you don't, it's fine. Like I said, this is what I sat with because last week what I sat with was compassion. And I researched it and I looked and I sat with compassion and how it's easier to have compassion for the other than ourselves. So this week, and I don't want to sound weird, too weird, or weirder than I am, but Spirit started me like literally looking at who am I? I sat in the question of who am I? And I truly believe in questioning and sitting with it. I find more, it's a pathway bound to my heart and soul of who is Michael. So when I started looking up who am I, what I came up with is, am I what I do? Am I the healing work I do? Am I a father, a brother, or a son? Who am I in relationship to the world? And it was kind of interesting because I looked at different ways of doing it because each one of you is going to look at me different. Everybody in the world, everyone's, some people like me, dislike me. It's fine. I'm not hooked on it, but who am I as far as people will judge you if you're doctor, lawyer, teacher, student, does unemployed. So who am I is what I started looking at. And then what I came to in my second one that I started looking at is I am what other people say about me because that's their truth, not mine. We all wear a different mask when we go to work or church or temple or the beach or with this friend or a brother, mother, sister. We wear different masks. So, am I what other people say about me or my family or friends? Because we'll show up differently. So, it's like even in the questioning, I'm going, oh, well, no, that's not it, but it's what I looked at. And then I looked at who am I on what I have. Do I have a nice car, no car, a house, apartment? Am I a trust fund? Do you know what I mean? So people will look at your social economic place of judging, oh, this person's rich or they're struggling or they're unemployed, but none of that defines me. I even look at as am I struggling or I'm in pain or lonely? I know I can feel bad or good about myself over those things, but that does not say who I am. So I sat with, well, okay, if those don't define me, and then my next question, because I'm always curious going to the next layer of the onion, is is it the type of person I am? Am I a nice guy? I like to consider myself heart-centered, but everybody has their opinion. Am I annoying? Do you have somebody who's annoying? This is, I like to think I'm funny, even when I'm not, but I just think I am. So not everybody will. So is he generous? He's a narcissistic. Is she like snooty or this or that, he or them? I hate to use gender, but excuse me. Am I generous or I tight or with my emotions? Do I lead with my heart or So I looked at that and then I'm going, no, that's part of my story, but that's not who I am. That's not the Michael that I am. And then I looked at, well, am I what I was told at birth? You're white. You're Jewish. You speak English. That's a window. This is a chair. It was literally, this is God. This is what we believe. Even prejudice. We don't like this group of people or that group. It was like, I was taught to speak a language. Everybody's taught. So it's like, who am I in learning the language? Do you know what I mean? And being told that this is chocolate vanilla. It's like all that is taught. And then it becomes part of my identity. Am I speak English? Am I upper class, lower class, middle class, no class? But I ask myself, who am I in all that? And when I sat with that, I go, no, that's what I was taught. That's how I was raised. It's how our parents did the best we could. We do the best with our children, but I am not that. That is a large part of me. So I go, so I literally go, who is Michael? Who am I? I know I see your names up here. I see your faces. You all have shared your pain, your longings with me, but that's not who you are. That's part of your journey, the healing, the journey that I truly believe that we came to earth is to learn and grow. So I believe in starting to ask the question is how I, and maybe you will start to search the core sense of yourself. I looked at who am I? Where did I start to change? And in my 40s, I was living in Tampa, Florida. I owned 3 houses. I planned on buying a few more. And my goal was when I was 55, I would be retired. I'd live off all that money. I was dating different people. I was making decent money, not rich or anything like that. But I was doing okay, what most people would good, and most people in the world would say unbelievably. But there was a part of me that just I felt so lost and empty that I'm going, this isn't it. It's not That's not me. My soul's longing for more. So I kind of remember laying back in bed one day looking up at God. We didn't talk much back then. And asking her, was this all there is? Is this it? I was feeling alone, not much joy, dealing with physical and mental pain. I've dealt with depression my whole life. It's in my lineage. It's been passed down to me through my other family members deal with it. And with all that, I still felt empty. Other house rentals, dating, that it's just there's a part of me goes, who am I in this? So what I wanted to do was start searching and see what I can find more about me and what the emptiness is. So later, which turned out to be, all that pain and sadness turned out to be a blessing because it started me on my spiritual journey to connect with God. And I don't care if you're God, whatever higher power, whatever spirit, but the God within, or whatever you want to call the higher power. I remember I started going to temple. I hadn't been to temple. This is my 40s since I was 13. I didn't find him there, but it was a good start. It was at least I was asking the universe for help or support. And I truly believe when you put out there, this is what I'm longing for, it's all energy. This is what you'll bring into your field. It's like, this is what I want to create. And doing it without knowing the answers, because if you know the answers, being human, we're wrong. No, we'll screw it up. We box it. We're not living in the question. So when I started doing that, when I asked the universe for help and support, my biggest lessons started showing up. And to be honest, some of my biggest lessons were of some of the worst pain that I ever had. I mean, I didn't want to live anymore. I was struggling. I was tired. But now in hindsight, I learned that my biggest lessons, the pain, the struggle, physical, mental, what you people are going through, what I'm holding in the healing, is our gifts. It's what we brought this earth to learn and grow. And if we die at 30 or 50, our lessons are, I don't say over, but we did our soul's journey. So I started to find out more who I was through the pain and the suffering in my relationship to it. And I started to let go of who I thought I was and started to find my truth. Who am I in connection with God or my path? And as soon as I started doing that, the universe literally, I used to think was out to get me, started supporting me. Teachers would show up. I would go to a workshop and it's like people would show up and gifts and things started happening because what I literally started saying was not this anymore. I was ready to move to the next lesson, to the next part of my journey. And I think as human beings, sometimes we get so comfortable, even in complaining or whining, no money, no relationship, the pain, we get so stuck in there that we actually get comfortable on some level. So starting to learn and with my teachers, I had to find out more of who I was. Actually, I learned more of who I wasn't and letting go of things I was taught and believed. Because in that, I got to start looking at a creation of who is Michael. Now, when I start looking at who am I look at who am I in relationship to you? Who am I in relationship to the pain I deal with? Who am I relationship to my children or other people? And I started finding out by looking how I react to what shows up. I started looking at, especially this week, because I started looking at this question this week. I started to get more of an essence of who am I, because I truly believe who we are is in relationship to whatever shows up in our field. Pain, sadness, death, horrible things, joy. It's why we're here on earth, to learn. We're not here to suffer. We learn when we go into pain, but that's where we learn. So I know how much pain some are you in physically and mentally, and the loss of life, and the cancer, and the death, and the sadness, and wanting to go into creation. But who are you in that energy field? That's an amazing question to sit back when I have a headache saying, who am I in relationship to this headache? And sometimes I'm going to go lie down because it hurts so much or do aspirin. But how do I show up? Am I the victim or the martyr? Do I slow down enough to see, what does Michael need? And not caretake of others, because it's a way of literally, if you keep taking care of others, you're not taking care of yourself. It's a distraction. Do you put on the serenity mask when you're in pain and people go, how are you doing? I'm great. And when you want to go, I'm not feeling well today. Because I've gotten into lately more this week when I started the question, and I've been doing it for years. When someone asks me how I am, I do my number three, I pause and I check in. I go, right now I'm doing good, or I've got joy, or I'm tired. It's a way of being more honest with myself, and then there's more connection. So is it your ego or your wounded child running the show? So that's what I look in. I love, I was it Byron Katie asked, when these things are you going through, you ask yourself, is it true? Especially I work with couples or people make up stuff, and I kind of look at just about everything as fake or false news. It's the world. We make up stuff and then we believe it through our childhood, our woundings, and life is tough. And I have people in Santa Barbara come in, oh, there's no men in Santa Barbara, and women come in and say, are there men come in, there's no women. And if that's what you hold on to, it's not. Or I'm going to always be in pain for the rest of my life. No, if that's what you hold on to. So I truly believe a sense of inadequacy often forms the question around, who am I? As we engage in the deepening complex of understanding ourselves, we do so with much better devotion energy to the unfolding process of life, witnessing our thoughts, not reacting out of old habits, and becoming present in the moment by moment enables us to better craft our lives, so that the identity we seek fires a little life force, this core star we have inside of us that is in each and every one of us. And it helps, rather than being stuck in pain and sadness. I suggest you bring back that wounded child and you ask him or her to summon a sense of wonderment and adventure, not the ongoing beat up that I'm not good enough, I'm not, or I'm too much. It's like it's so habitual, it just becomes part of our lives. But that wounded, or that wounded child, when you ask them what's going on, they're curious, sense of wonder, they want to know. They're not going to beat up. There's a new sense of wanting to be born. You get to recreate yourself along the way. And when people say that to know yourself, well, for me, to know yourself leaves no room for growth. I had a client I've been working with over a year, and the other day she says, I've been trying to figure you out for a year. And I go, oh my God. And she said, what? I says, I gave up figuring me out. If you're trying to figure me out, we're both lost because I'm still learning who I am. So if you know yourself, there's no room for growth. Even more, it suggests a deep vulnerability that's defended against it. You won't let anybody in, as it's too dangerous to take a look at your ego. The judge defends itself to the death of our joy. So if you're seeking joy, and for me, joy is the most powerful energy of the world. Word. Okay. Joy, it's an energy field that, to me, it's our teacher. Because if it doesn't bring you joy, It's a lesson. And it's really that simple, but the human mind looks at it differently. So joy is letting go of the story. It makes perfect sense to go seek a deeper self, to become intimately aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your hopes and fears, and start shifting that old stuck energy. Starts with this no longer serves me. And like I will say now and a million times, we heal in connection, not isolation. We go into isolation to protect, to push people away. We go to crazy, we go caretaking, we like, get busy, we drugs, alcohol, food, TV. It's a way of numbing ourselves that we don't have to look at, because usually what's under the fear is usually a lot of deep sadness, deep like soul sadness. But I promise and I guarantee, I've been doing this so many years, what's under that sadness is just pure joy. It's that inner child. So to become innately aware of your thoughts, feelings, your fears, your beliefs, your images, will start shifting that old stuck energy. The key to it is engage your sense of self, of who I am in relationship to what is here now, no matter how painful it is. What is in this moment by moment by moment? I've got two teenage kids, and it's like when I talk to one of them, well, what you were screaming about last week, do you remember? No. Well, the world coming to an end back then? Yeah. It moves. That trauma, with drama and trauma, I call it, keeps us stuck in it. Bringing in breath, bringing in movement, bringing connection, bringing in God, shift the energy. I suggest you sit in the question of who you are, even when it's uncomfortable, and then bring in more compassion for yourself. And I won't do a whole talk on compassion because I went on and on about it last week. I shall probably have to start putting these on YouTube. The universe exists in a state of flowing potential and is here to support us on our healing journey. It's essential to understand that we are part of the universe. The goal is to access that to potential and keeping parts of our identity that continues to serve us well and shed the old habitual pieces that constrain us. And that's my witness with compassion. Does this serve me? Does it bring me joy? I think it's a Japanese lady who wrote a book that I've given to a few clients. You throw all your clothes on the floor and you pick it up, and if it doesn't give you joy, you get rid of it. Doesn't matter if you had 100 years, you just bought it. Not 100 years, a few years. You just keep stuff that brings you joy. And it starts shifting the energy field, and it gives us permission to move into relationship that commits our personal evolution and starts to bring joy back. By undefending ourselves, we get more in touch with the possibilities rather than the same old crap we keep telling ourselves every day, in and out, that I'm not. And then we get stuck in that. That's a lot. So I think I'll move on because I could go on to it, but you get what I'm talking about. It started out with my question of who is Michael, but then I realized, who am Michael in relationship to you? Who are you in relationship to? Anybody, to God, to your family, to your pets, to your job, to your body. Everybody has body dysphoria. Everybody doesn't like parts of your body. My suggestion is, if you don't like it, put your hand on it, talk to it, send it love, and start shifting that energy field. So my guides are saying, that's enough, Michael. That's enough for them to swallow. So I go, okay. I'm a little weird, but it works.